Yes. Yep. What's good? What's good with y'all? How y'all doing? All right. Hold on one second. I promise you, this not gonna be long. It's not gonna be long at all. I just got some information. John, Q, what up? Tanya, what up? Angela, Linda, Rita Ray. What's up? What's happening? Miss Harris. What's going on? Yeah, I'm late anyways. Like 5 after 8 o'clock. Listen, okay. So yeah, earlier today we had what's up, Angela? How you doing? We had the live, the creator live John did over on his channel. I stopped by. I kind of hung out for a little while, and I had a couple other things to do. I just don't really, uh, I didn't really have the time to stick around for the whole thing. But I did come back later, and I'm not entirely sure if it was actually a debate that I heard, but that's what it sounded like. There was kind of like some debate on different aspects or people's interpretation of what they saw. I'm not sure, but that's what it sounded like to me. Like there was some sort of debate. Listen for a minute. I didn't know when I was going to uh, be called on the panel, if at all. I'm not sure. But anyhow, not long after that, I had to take off anyhow. So I will go back and watch it because I may have missed something, and I might even mention some things that were even said on his live. So just understand that I don't know what the fuck is going on. So anyhow, I did want to put it out there because I didn't, at least during the time that I was listening, I didn't really hear any discussion on it. And there are a lot of things that uh, couldn't have been said because I just learned them myself. But I want to, clue y'all in on what exactly it is that I'm doing. What my whole vision. Well, I mean, it's already out there. John had explained it. I followed up and, filled in some blanks as to what it is, how I want to approach it, and that is getting the video footage authenticated. When I first mentioned this, I actually thought about it long before last Thanksgiving, but I didn't think that there was any community support. I thought maybe we were on the right track because when John proposed, getting the content creators together, I figured that'd be a perfect time because I realized that uh, it will need community support. And if the creators were behind it, if they supported it, they thought it was a good idea, then that would be even better. Of course, if you have a concept that you want to put out there publicly for support, and you have some of the greatest, researchers and everything, and they're like, oh, fuck that, then their followers are probably going to follow suit. So with that in mind, I figured, well, I mentioned it to John. I told John about it. He liked the idea, and that's what it was. But it kind of got derailed and put on the back burner. But this time, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to put it on the back burner. As in fact, there are already a lot of things taking place. The authentication process is a simple one. There was some discussion that I did catch earlier tonight about, well, it not being the original hard drive or the original footage, and therefore, what would be the point or what would be the purpose? Listen, that is exactly what we hope that they would say. First of all, let me explain something to you. The objective is we want to prove what we have been saying all along and what Rosemont and Crown Plaza have been disputing all along. They have been saying that we're crazy, that we're seeing stuff in the footage that isn't there, and blah blah blah, conspiracy theory. We've been saying all along that your footage is tampered with. So the last thing that they are going to want to do is to then turn around and question their own evidence, what they've been promoting as the truth. The last thing they're going to want to do is come to us and say, well, that we think that's tampered with. That's not even the authentic footage. That's not even the original hard drive. Bingo! That's what the hell we've been saying all along. So guess what? Where's the original, sir? Somebody's got question answers. Somebody needs to answer some questions. Somebody's got some inquiries to open up. Somebody needs to get fired, and a slew of other things. But that's not going to be the case. You see, the thing is, This is the evidence that they have put out there. We didn't put this out there. They did. They have both stood by this evidence. They have said that this is the original. I've questioned them in FOIA requests. Many other people have asked them too about the original footage, the native footage. At every turn, they say that is what is on the site. The evidence is on the site. That's what we have. So, by their own assertion, this is the original. Do we believe that? No, we don't believe that. Do they know that? Yeah, they probably know that. But we're trying to get it put out there that, okay, once and for all, we now know definitively this is not the original footage. And therefore, if it's been manipulated, tampered with, how can you then form your conclusion of accidental death based on fraudulent or inadmissible, non-significant, irrelevant ass footage? That's what you've come to this conclusion. That's how you came to your determination. So, since they have put this out there, that this is the footage, it is what it is. You guys have seen what we've seen. Their assertion, more or less, is that what's on their site is what they received. That's the hard drive. In so many words, that's what they're saying. So, okay, if that's the case, then we have every right to challenge that. You know, when a criminal goes to trial and he's being prosecuted, his defense challenges the prosecution's theory. This is what they're claiming. Well, we want to challenge that. So what we're doing is we're going to challenge your theory, your accidental death theory. And how do we do that? By attacking your evidence. This is your evidence, so we're going to attack it. So with that being said, that's the route that we're going to take. Now, I mentioned creator support. That'd be great. I mean, actually, I think it's fundamental because, like I've already told y'all just the other day, I'm not paying for this shit. I'm not going to do it. I know that the cost associated with getting the files put on a hard drive will cost money. I believe it was $50 or $80, one of the two. I'm not sure. I have to go back at the FOIA and look. But it's either $50 or $80 for the files to be put on the hard drive. The cost of having them send that hard drive via registered U.S. mail directly to the forensic analysis company, that's going to depend on, of course, the location of the company, which I have not determined yet. There are 3 companies that I have contacted, 2 of which have already responded. I just finished reading the emails tonight. I would show them to you, but for the sake of discretion, I don't want to put the company's names out there, not just yet. 2 of them have responded, and he actually detailed all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's like 2 14-page letters listing his credentials and the company and all the methods that they use. And I'm eager to show it to you. I was looking for a way that I could probably redact the name, but before I knew it, it was 8 o'clock. So I said, oh, well, we'll have to wait till another time. But there are 3 companies that I've contacted, 2 of which are in the United States, 1 of which is not. That was made by the suggestion of someone else that I should possibly explore something outside of the country, and for really good reasons that I hadn't really considered, but it makes sense. But considering the costs, the additional costs that would be that we would have to incur dealing with an international company, and then in the event that they may have to testify or whatever, that's just an additional expense. I'm not sure if the community, because like I told you, I'm not paying for it. I'm not sure if the community is going to foot that bill or what can be attained. I don't know. So I think what I believe will just have to be what it is we're going to go with a company that's in this country. Probably. I don't know yet. Depends on what this last company says when they get back in touch with me. But we'll probably go with someone in the U.S. and we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope that, Rosemont doesn't know these people personally. So with that being said, the FOIA request, the initial FOIA request to request those files has already been sent. That was sent Friday to receive the hard drive from the Rosemont mayor's office. Of course, it's a weekend, so I don't anticipate they're not going to respond anytime soon. But within the next week, I'll know that all they're going to do is acknowledge that they've received the request. They're going to tell me that Yes, we can put it on a hard drive. It's going to cost this much. And depending on your address, wherever you want to send it, we'll give you a final price. Once they do that, then I'll know what I'm going to send them. What I've done now, I've actually talked, I detailed it in both of my communications with the two companies that have responded. I've already detailed to them that what we are looking to do is have the hard drive forwarded directly to your company. That is to maintain the chain of custody. We don't want Rosemont to ever have the argument to say, hey, we don't know if whoever, is behind this request, maybe they tampered with the files. How can you just say we tampered with them? That's the purpose why I want to have them put essentially what are the same files, according to them, will be the same files on the hard drive and have that sent rather than just downloading them myself or have the company do it. If they do it that way and they send it registered mail, now we have a trail documentation of that hard drive from them directly to the analysis company. They can perform their analysis, provide the report. With that report, we take steps after that. The steps that I am going to take is to the United States Attorney for the state of Illinois. A long time ago, I wrote a letter to the senator of Illinois, and that was Mrs. Harris. She had insisted that people do that. I wrote a letter. I got a response, and I still wish I'd never thrown that letter away, but they essentially told me that I was contacting the wrong place, and I needed to go to the internal affairs of the jurisdiction that I was looking, that I was having an issue with. Of course, I realized that internal affairs is nothing more than like an extension of the same department that you're looking at. I mean, these are nothing but their peers. So with that being said, and we know the nepotism that goes on in Rosemont, so that's not a viable option for me. The United States Attorney for the state of Illinois is where I'm going to direct the report to, assuming the report comes back saying that there is evidence of manipulation, and I would bet my left lung that that's what they're going to come back and say. Based on that report, I'm going to accompany that with a request, a demand that the investigation be reopened because the initial investigation was faulty based on these grounds, because your primary evidence was bullshit. So I think that's a legitimate reason why you need to check it out again. And the oversight agency has an obligation to perform an inquiry into that investigation. They have to check it out. They have to go back to the agency and determine if, there was mistakes made and what went on with the initial investigation. If they don't, then in the alternative, they need to provide a written explanation to me why this evidence that I've submitted to you, this report that tells you that, it was all bullshit. Why is that not sufficient enough to warrant a reinvestigation? Of course, if they provide that information to me and they say, hey, we're not going to open it because, hell, that even though you found out all the surveillance is fake, we're still not going to do shit. Okay, well, then I plan to take that information to some, and I don't have any idea which one because they all seem weird, but some media has got to hear about that. Some media is going to hear about them refusing to open a case based on their primary evidence being faulty and their refusal to reinvestigate the case. Given this, the recent heightened, interracial affairs, I guess that, that's the way I'll put it, the anti-racism thing going on, maybe it might grab the attention of one of the news medias. I don't know. But that's a plan B that I'm hoping doesn't even take any type of form or shape. So that is the guideline. I was wondering when we were going to discuss that earlier. It kind of went on a little bit. I know John had some things he wanted to present about the video footage, but I'm of the impression that we're all at a point where, what we see in the footage is what it is. The surveillance footage as it is subjective to people. What I may see may not be what you see. What you see may not be what the next person sees. It's all subjective. But what needs to be determined is whether or not is anything we're seeing the truth? Can any of it be trusted? And all you have to do is find one little manipulation, one evidence of tampering. It doesn't even have to necessarily be on a specific file that shows Kanika, but if there's evidence of tampering, then the entire footage is garbage. This is something that ordinarily is would be like common practice for an attorney to challenge. Why they overlooked this, I have no idea. They tried to basically they tried to pacify the public when they sent the live videos off to Target for enhancement. Enhancement is not authentication, and that's what they did. They blew up different uh, little frames. They'd blow them up, and that's what they did. They enhanced it, or they whatever they supposedly did with the cell phone. I don't know, but they did not authenticate the footage. No one did that, and their attempt at letting that be known, we sent it to Target and we did all this, is to appease you and to have us think that they did all their due diligence, which they didn't. So that's what's going to happen. I have been in, like I told you, I've been in contact with the two companies. I did discuss with both of them about the arrangements for finances. The payments, as I explained to the companies, are going to be, well, hopefully, if we can come up with some method to do this, because in the responses they gave me tonight, neither one of them addressed that specific issue, but I specifically talked about it. It was a concern of mine that, with all the scams and all the things that have went on, that people aren't going to trust it, or they're not going to want to donate, or. So my thinking was that we need to come up with a way that the beneficiary of the fundraising can be the company directly. Meaning, you donate to a GoFundMe where the company is the beneficiary of the funds. I was discussing that in the emails with the company, telling them that that's what I'd like to do. And if it's something that can be arranged, maybe they can provide me some details on that, or we'll talk about it in the future. My initial contact was just that. It was an initial contact. So I didn't go into detail about it. I kind of wanted to just give them a gist of what it is that we're looking to do, the work that I'd like to have performed, for what cause, and the methods I would like to get that information to them. Obviously, once they get the work and they are ready to perform it, before they do anything, they're going to let that's when the payment things will come about. So I kind of just outlined it. I wasn't specific really about all the intricacies of it, but I'm sure they'll let me know. So with that being said, as far as like donating to any of this, none of that's going to happen until obviously they get the file footage. I'm going to pay for the cost of the registered mail that it's going to cost to get the hard drive from Rosemont, and the cost to put the files on the hard drive. Like I said, it's like $50 or $80, and I don't know how much the mail is going to cost, registered mail, but I'm hoping $20 or less. I don't know. But with that being said, I'm going to pay the cost of that, so don't nobody got to worry about that. And they're going to send the hard drive over there, and then once I get the information or they set up the account, I'm assuming GoFundMe. That's the only one that I know of how you could possibly set it up in someone else's name, or they can set it up or whatever. Once they get that all set up, then when that happens, and or John or somebody will provide you the link, or the page where you could donate if you want to. If you don't, fuck it, whatever. But my obligation was to try my best when I heard about this case to try to get it reopened. I'm not trying to solve the case. I'm not trying to understand everything about the foot. I'm just not, because I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. And that's not the commitment that I made to myself to Kanika. So I'll try to get the case reopened. That's about all I can do. And as far as I'm concerned, she was good with that. So with that being said, y'all got the idea of what it is that I want to try and do. Now I'm going to look on here and see what the hell is going on. This is no like offense to John or anything. Like I said, he may have discussed some of these things, but I wasn't there. I missed most of them, so I'm not sure. The Wait a minute. I'm not going to look on here. I'm going to look and see that. Who knows? I might have gotten a response already. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to check the FOIA. Although it was just a couple days ago, who knows? Everybody's kind of locked in for a pandemic right now, so they may not have much to do. Let me check this FOIA real quick and see if they've responded. It's only take me a second. I got it saved here. And then I'm going to answer a question if y'all have any, and then I'm gonna get the hell off of here. Let me see. Hold on. See, verification failed. I'm not sure. Maybe I. Hold on. Hold on. System value. Log in. Okay. Let's see. Uh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, damn, that's fucked up. Actually, okay, yeah, I'm looking at it. It actually, I don't know why I could have I did submit it last time, but I had to resubmit it. It was already done, but I just resubmitted it because for whatever reason it had returned to a draft, but it has been resubmitted just now. So whatever. Like I said, it's a weekend. I don't know. So anyhow, the FOIA is on the way, and I've been in contact with a couple companies, and that's what it is right now. Everything else, I'm just waiting on some feedback so we can know what the next route is. All right, let me see. Go up here. Let's see. Felicia still standing. Felicia still standing. Cole Pepsi, what up? Die Rich, how you doing? Uh, Cole Pepsi, that's the homie right there. Tanya Nicole. Sugar Tea, what up? All right, well, okay, yeah. Okay, I don't see, well, I'm not seeing any right now. I don't see any question. I enjoy you earlier. Corinne Harris is a wealth of knowledge. She knows what she's talking about. Just want to say thank you, everyone who isn't going to give up on this case. You have to thank me. You don't have to thank me at all. Let me know how much for the hard drive it costs you. I submitted the last uh, FOIA that I sent. That's what they told me. As a matter of fact, I could have looked right now. Let me see, what did they say? Um, I believe they said $50 last time, or it might have been 80. Let me see. They said, damn, it's in here somewhere. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, they said $50. The cost of the hard drive is approximately $50, and the cost of delivery depend on the address that you provide. Okay, so like I said, all that I'm gonna take care of that just because once they tell me, I want to go ahead and send it to them so they can go ahead and send the damn files. That's why I kind of wanted to contact these people so I know ahead of time. I'm gonna email him. Well, both of them. I'm gonna email them both back once I'm done here and get some further clarification about the payment process because I need to establish that right away and whether or not they're going to provide me the address to send the hard drive to. Actually, one company, he told me that I could just submit the files to him. He said he could perform analysis, or he could let me know if it was possible or not to perform the authentication analysis with the files, and he provided me a secure share link to submit the files to him. But I then explained to him why I wanted to go the route of the hard drive and the chain of custody and all those things. Uh, so I'm gonna get their feedback from there, and then I can let you guys know after that. It shouldn't take long. They have 10 days to respond from the time I submitted the FOIA. Yeah, let's see. We'll contribute. Yeah, yeah, once I get the link, once I get, whenever the guy or whoever, whichever company, when they set up the payment, then you guys will know. That way you can see all, because I know GoFundMe, you can go and look and see like who the beneficiary is, like where's the money going, and then y'all can do your research and see who the hell these people is. At that time, I just don't want to put them out there now because the mayor is a lot. Yeah, yeah, of course, they all liars. That one was very rude. Uh, this might not be directed to me because I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, yes, there's no need to be sorry for the truth. Okay. Maintain the chain of custody of the hard drive to the analysis. Yeah. This the police department is sending unauthenticated copies out. I'm not sure what that. Whatever they send out, what whatever they send to me, they have they're putting their assurance on it that that's the evidence because that's what I requested in the FOIA. That's a federal request that I sent to them. If they send that in response, then that's what they're alleging is the evidence. Whatever they send to us is what they are standing on as the evidence. And since I'm not going to touch it, then if it's tampered with, still, you're in the same boat. Who tampered with it? Now we have questions. Now you definitely need another investigation, don't you? Don't you want to know how in the hell the footage got tampered with and why? You should have some people to round up. You should get your notebook and your tape recorders. Sound like you got some interrogations to conduct. Let's see. Should have came directly from Rose. Yeah, they should have. That was capturing the data over there. Yeah, they should have. They should have, but they didn't. And it's their fault that they then relied on that unauthenticated footage to base their determination. That's on them. You're right, and I agree. Yeah, it should have. If the police was doing what they're supposed to, they'd have got the authenticated footage. But since they didn't, then now we're going to dismantle their whole claim about accidental death because they chose to make that determination based on unauthenticated footage. Remember, they've said all along that, oh, the footage is fine. No, it's not tampered with. These people are just conspiracy theorists and blah, blah, blah. We've been saying all along footage is tampered with. See, had everybody had this one voice and just been like, hey, prove to us that the footage is authentic. Prove that it's authentic. They somewhat were saying that when they were saying, show us the tapes, the real tapes. It's basically what they were saying. We want the real damn tapes. They just completely ignored that. Just didn't want to address that fact. They never brought it up in a press conference about the question in their surveillance. They never brought that up. They'd bring up stupid stuff like, oh, people are pointing and saying, look over there. Okay, yeah, we are. But the point is, your footage is full of shit. Let's see. They had to say it was an accident as they did not want the FBI involved as there was drug dealing going on in the kitchen. The edited footage is not Kanika's suspects. It is to hide the dealers. Could be. I don't know what it's hiding or who. I don't care if it's hiding a stuffed animal. I just want to know why didn't y'all authenticate this footage and how y'all then going to turn to us and give us any determination based on this nonsense that you've been watching, that you chose to not verify. They chose to. There's not that many dummies in that department. It would take a whole combination of dumbasses to just really let this be a mistake. It's not a mistake. They did this on purpose. The police are involved. Yeah, I believe so too. The tampering is in the CFO footage. Different timestamps, darkened footage. Yeah, who knows? I'm not sure. I just know it's there. It's there. That's for sure. It's the point of having the hard drive checked for any inconsistency. Exactly. That's what we're out to show, that this is not authentic footage. That's what we want to prove. If they want to help us out by acknowledging that before the analysis or whatever, if they just want to confess to it, then that's great. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Like I mentioned the other day, they cannot go back and now make authentic footage. So what they have put out there is what's out there. And that's what's going to get tested. And We're going to have somebody look at it. It's to find out if he has files on Rosemont. They're going to send you the same hard drive with the files on it that they send hundreds of people. That may be the case, but how does that make the process any? How does that change the what we're trying to do? They may very well send the same files that they send everybody, and then we're going to send those same files to get them authenticated. Those same files are what they have claimed is the evidence, which is the files on the website, just more organized. Okay, probably. No, okay. All right, so that's the like I said earlier, things are emotional. Probably has been incinerated by now. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. The original files, yeah. If it's not in somebody's safe in their house, just because weird people like to keep little mementos. If it's not, then yeah, for certain it's been destroyed. So the chance of getting the original files is out the door. But that doesn't mean that this case is is hopeless. Because I personally believe, just my belief, that with enough pressure on the right people, then the case will open itself up. That's what I believe. A little threat of a little bit of jail time, and people are going to start talking. Yeah, you have to pay. Yep, that's true. You got to pay for the hard drive and the footage and the postage. Criminal against the party, go with hotel against the contract. They had no choice, but yeah, that's gone. Well, I tried to. I didn't make it too long, so it shouldn't be too much of a replay to go watch. Unknown tampering. I'd rather deal with an unknown tampering with evidence case than having to explain obvious evidence of the murder that they covered up. Uh, I, I'm not. I don't know what you mean by that. Unknown tampering with evidence case. What do you mean unknown? That's a known. I mean, it's a known fact who retrieved this footage. It's a known fact who had access to the. All of those people would then be subjected to subpoenas. All of those people have now got to explain some things. Even the police, the investigators, you've now got to explain some things. Said download these and I'll be back. Yeah, whatever they did, shield they edited, deleted scenes. Yeah. No, okay. Well, yeah, that's about it. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. That's all the questions. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Whatever files that they send us, whatever it is that they provide, they are asserting that this is the evidence. The request is for all the files, just like is listed uh, on their website. They're saying that that's all the files. Regardless, I didn't ask for the files on their site, but I asked for all the files pertaining to the case that they have. The exact same wording. So there's nothing that they should then produce after the fact and say, hey, well, these are the so and so files. Well, I already requested all that stuff. So by law, they're asserting that this is everything, whatever they provide. So whatever they provide is going to get sent and analyzed, and then we're going from there. All right. So I hope that clears some things up. I wanted to put that out there. I don't know if John ever touched on it earlier, but that's where I'm going with this. John, I'll be in touch with you. I don't, if you're going to do the fundraising thing or whatever, then I'll give you, when I get in touch with these people and they tell me how to do it, I'll give you the information and you can go from there. Otherwise, I'll put it on my channel. It'll be up. Y'all see it. So it is what it is. I'm out of here. I'm getting the hell off this live. All right. Y'all be easy. I'm gone.